Right now, your phone is somewhere within arm's reach. You know exactly where it is. You haven't looked at it in the last few minutes. That feels like an accomplishment. Maybe you even feel a little proud of yourself for resisting. But the real answer for why you keep checking it has almost nothing to do with willpower or self-control, or how disciplined you are. It is far stranger than that. You think you are checking your phone because you are bored, or curious, or waiting for something important. Sometimes that is true. Most of the time, it is not. Something much older than your phone is running the show, quietly, beneath your conscious decisions. And it was not built by an app developer in the last 15 years. It was built by your own brain, shaped over millions of years, long before screens, before electricity, before anyone had ever imagined a notification. You don't decide to check your phone the way you decide to make a sandwich. There's no real plan involved. Your hand just moves. By the time you notice what you're doing, you're already 3 swipes into a feed you didn't mean to open. You might even tell yourself afterward that you only meant to check the time. Start with a question. Why does checking your phone feel different from checking, say, the mailbox? The mailbox you check once. If there is nothing there, you stop checking. The phone you check 40, 60, 80 times a day. Why? The answer starts in a lab in the 1930s with pigeons. The psychologist B.F. Skinner was studying how animals learn to repeat behaviors. He put pigeons in a box with a lever. Peck the lever, get a food pellet. Simple, predictable. The pigeons learned fast and pecked steadily, the way you'd check a mailbox you knew was reliable, and then mostly stopped once the food ran out. Predictable rewards, it turns out, are easy to walk away from. Then Skinner changed one thing. Instead of a pellet every time, he made the reward random. Sometimes the pigeon pecked and got food. Sometimes it pecked 10 times and got nothing. Sometimes it pecked once and got a jackpot. There was no pattern the pigeon could learn, no rhythm to predict. The pigeons did not peck less. They pecked more. Constantly. Almost frantically. Skinner called this a variable ratio reinforcement schedule, and it remains one of the most replicated findings in behavioral psychology. Unpredictable rewards do not satisfy a brain. They hijack it. A creature that knows exactly when its reward is coming can relax in between. A creature that has no idea can never quite relax at all. Here is the part that should unsettle you. Your phone runs on the exact same schedule. You unlock it for a message. Sometimes it's there. Sometimes it's nothing. You pull down to refresh your feed. Sometimes there's something thrilling. Sometimes there's nothing at all. You never know which one you're about to get. And that uncertainty is not a flaw in the design. It is the design. Decades after Skinner's pigeons, a neuroscientist named Wolfram Schultz ran experiments that explained why this works on a biological level. He recorded the activity of dopamine neurons in monkeys while they waited for a reward, usually a small squirt of juice delivered after a cue. The surprising discovery was that dopamine did not spike most strongly when the monkey received the reward. It spiked when the reward was uncertain, in the gap between the cue and the outcome, in the not knowing. The anticipation, not the payoff, was where the real neurochemical action happened. That single finding rewired how scientists understood desire. Dopamine isn't really a pleasure chemical, the way pop science often describes it. It's a chemical of anticipation, of maybe. Your brain releases it not when something good happens, but when something good might happen. The might is the active ingredient. Take the uncertainty away, and the dopamine response shrinks along with it. Think about what that means for the phone in your pocket. Every time you glance at a dark screen, some part of your brain is running Schultz's experiment on you, live, dozens of times a day. Maybe there's a message. Maybe there's a like. Maybe there's nothing. You don't know. And not knowing is exactly what makes you check again and again, long after any rational benefit has worn off. Your ancestors lived inside a version of this system long before screens. Imagine a forager scanning the grass at dusk, the light fading fast, the temperature dropping. Most of the time, the rustle in the grass is nothing. Wind. A bird settling for the night. But sometimes it's a predator, and sometimes it's prey. And there's no way to know which until you look. The forager who stayed alert to uncertain signals, who kept checking, who couldn't quite relax until the rustling stopped for good, was the one more likely to eat dinner instead of becoming it. That hypervigilance wasn't a character flaw. It was a survival advantage, passed down through generations of people who paid attention to ambiguous signals and lived long enough to have children. Calm, relaxed indifference to uncertainty would have gotten you killed. So evolution built brains that lean forward into maybe, not backward into probably nothing. Uncertainty used to keep you alive. Now it keeps you scrolling. There's a third piece of this puzzle, and it comes from somewhere you might not expect. Casino floors. The anthropologist Natasha Schul spent years studying slot machine players in Las Vegas, watching them, interviewing them, documenting how they described their own experience. What she found was not gamblers chasing a big win, it was something closer to a trance. Players described wanting to stay in the zone, a state where the world outside the machine seemed to disappear, where winning and losing mattered less than simply continuing to play. Schul's research showed that slot machine engineers design every detail: the timing of sounds, the pacing of near misses, the rhythm of small wins mixed with long losing stretches, specifically to extend this zone for as long as possible. Not to make players happy, to make them keep playing, because a player who is happy might stop. A player chasing the next uncertain pull rarely does. Sound familiar? The infinite scroll on your feed has no stopping point built in, on purpose, so your thumb never has to decide when enough is enough. The notification badge uses red, the color your visual system is wired to flag as urgent and important, on purpose. The pull to refresh gesture mimics a slot machine lever almost exactly, down to the physical motion of your thumb dragging downward and releasing. None of this is an accident. It's the same uncertainty engine Skinner found in pigeons and Schultz found in dopamine neurons, built deliberately into glass and silicon by people who understood the research well. There's one more wrinkle worth sitting with. Not every notification on your phone is built the same way, and the differences are not accidental either. A calendar reminder tells you exactly what's coming. A package delivery alert tells you exactly what's coming. These barely register, because there's no uncertainty left to exploit. You already know. But a social media notification that simply says someone interacted with your post without telling you who or how keeps the uncertainty alive on purpose. You have to open the app to find out. That single design decision, withholding the answer until you click, is doing the same work Skinner's randomized lever did for his pigeons. It is manufactured suspense, applied at a scale no slot machine in Las Vegas could ever match, because it lives in your pocket instead of a building you have to drive to. So why does it feel like a personal failure when you can't put the phone down? Because you've been told over and over that this is a willpower problem. Just delete the app. Just use the timer. Just try harder. It is not fundamentally a willpower problem. You are not weak for responding to a system engineered, using real behavioral science, to exploit a reward circuit that evolved over millions of years to keep you alive. The forager scanning the grass and the teenager scanning a feed are running the same ancient software, written long before either of them existed. One of them just has it running 24 hours a day, in their pocket, with a battery that never needs sleep and a screen that never goes fully dark. Here's the twist, though. The system isn't just unpredictable. It's unpredictable about things that don't actually matter for your survival anymore. A like is not food. A notification is not a predator. A comment from a stranger online cannot actually hurt you the way an actual rustle in actual grass once could. But your dopamine system can't tell the difference between an alert that matters and an alert that doesn't. It just knows uncertainty, and uncertainty is uncertainty, whether it's about a tiger in the grass or a stranger's opinion of your lunch photo. This is the modern mismatch. The hardware is ancient, built for a world of scarce, meaningful occasional signals. The triggers are new, designed by people who studied Skinner and Schultz carefully and built products around what they learned. And the triggers fire constantly, all day, every day, in a way the grass never could, because the grass eventually went quiet and let you rest. Knowing this doesn't make the urge disappear. The pigeons didn't stop pecking just because Skinner explained the lever to them, but knowing this changes what the urge means, and that matters more than it sounds like it should. The next time you feel your hand drift toward your phone for no clear reason, you're not failing at self-control. You're watching a 1930s pigeon experiment, a monkey dopamine study, and a casino floor all play out quietly in your own nervous system, all at once, in real time. You weren't built for a world of infinite random rewards delivered every few seconds. Nobody was. Your ancestors built their entire alertness system around scarcity, around the occasional rustle in the grass that meant something, surrounded by long stretches of nothing in between. Now the rustle never stops, and most of it means nothing at all, and your brain has no good way to tell the difference. So tonight, when you reach for your phone without quite knowing why, remember the pigeons. Remember that the same uncertainty that once kept your ancestors alive in the grass is the same uncertainty keeping you locked to a screen tonight, somewhere within arm's reach, glowing quietly in the dark.